Welcome to the Pocket Size PR podcast, the podcast where pocket-sized portions of PR wisdom are distilled and applied to real life by communications, marketing, and sometimes finance experts in Richard's case. I'm really pleased to have Richard Bradley on the show. Richard is Executive Chair at Dyer Engineering. Welcome, Richard.
Hi, Charlotte.
Please, can you define PR?
I've been thinking long and hard about how to define PR, I should say. The best one I've come up with is it's a window into the heart and soul of the business.
I love that. Amazing. I'm writing that down. A window into the heart and soul of a business.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, I think I've come at that because PR is all about projecting outwards, and outwards can be outwards to external stakeholders, but also to internal stakeholders. And I would like to think that you're putting your business out there in the most authentic way you possibly can. Because why would it be anything different if you're not telling the truth?
Yeah,
then what's
you'd be
the
surprised,
point?
But yeah,
no, and I appreciate that, and I think that's why maybe PR might have a bad rep
yes.
in some instances, because I think some people think about it as I'm just putting on this facade of what the business or what we would like the business to be,
yes.
or how we think other people should perceive it. I would rather that people looked at our business and saw exactly who we are and how we do things and why it matters to us. And that's why I've ended up with the heart and soul of the business, because I think it matters.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love that. And obviously you've got a background in finance. Have you always seen the value in PR and marketing?
No, I haven't.
Thanks for your honest answer, because a lot of people in finance, and that's stereotyping, and I'm sorry, but it's generally true.
No, if you'd asked me 10 years ago what is PR, I probably would have said the version of it's just putting up a front around the business. I don't see any value in it. And if you said go and invest lots of money, and I'd say no.
Thank you for your honesty. Was there a specific turning point? Because for having such a beautiful definition of it now, you must have changed your mindset.
That's been, I wouldn't say there was one specific moment where I suddenly went, PR. I now get it.
Yeah.
So I would say over probably the last 5 to 10 years, where I've transitioned from being a finance director to a managing director to now a chair. And within that, there's been the ownership journey as well in business. I guess a lot of it is my view on business has changed. And with that, my view about the business that I own and run has completely changed, and completely changed me as well. So it's been a long process to get me to this point. But yeah, so not one specific thing, but lots and lots of different things which make you realize that the business that you own and run is you want people to see that. You want people to see what it's really like and how we do things. And I value now the PR that goes with that, because, we're just putting out there, look, this is Dyer Engineering. Yes. This is who we are. This is how we do things. Do we get it right all of the time? Absolutely not. But then who does? But if you follow some journeys of PR along the way, it'll all look lovely and lots of bed of roses, but it never is that, is it? It
never is. And I think that's shifting now to people preferring that honest, authentic approach, or honest, authentic journey and story. I think people can see through, because everyone now knows that nothing is perfect.
Yeah.
I think people want to know the real, the blood, sweat, the tears, the mistakes, the journey along the way. And that makes people buy into the brand a little bit more, I think.
I would agree. It's, there is no single organisation in this world that's perfect.
No.
Every single one has its own imperfections. We should celebrate the imperfections, and usually it's from the imperfections and people's definition of failure varies. But I like to think of failure as it's just learning. You're just doing stuff that
Yes.
allows you to learn.
Absolutely.
Some of it might hurt, some of it might not.
Oh, yes.
But it's all learning.
But you learn more even the more painful it is sometimes.
Usually.
Yeah.
It is sort of the default for humans, isn't it? The more
Yeah.
painful it is, the more
Oh,
you
I
remember
know.
it.
Yes. Especially when they're expensive lessons to learn when it's your own business.
Yeah, I've done a few of those.
Yeah. You definitely learn quickly. Well, sometimes.
You just have to hope they're ones that aren't going to break you.
Yes. No,
or break the business, more important.
Yeah, absolutely. And so how do you feel PR and marketing adds value to Dyer Engineering?
Well, I think effectively it's a vehicle to allow us to tell the story, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And, we talk about the brand going out there. And I think I mentioned before, it's not just about external. It's not just about our external stakeholders. It's also about our internal stakeholders.
Yeah, that's really important.
Which actually, to a certain degree, and I possibly shouldn't say this on camera, is I value more the internal stakeholders than the external stakeholders, because all of the people that work in Dyer Engineering are the ones that make it happen. If we don't get that bit right, then it won't happen in the way that we would like it to. And then, I've always wanted a business that I could look at as objectively as possible. I'll always be biased, but as objectively as possible, and look at it and go, that would be a place I'd like to work in. So, you've got to put something on that where you look at it and think, yeah, actually that is where I'd like to work. Yeah,
absolutely. And almost by valuing that internal communications or internal PR, they become your PR machine, and it's a lot cheaper.
That's a really good point. I never thought of that.
Yeah, spreading the word of mouth. And, yes, obviously people always talk about a negative experience more than they do a positive one, but it's still incredibly valuable. And people often forget that. They just think about external perceptions over internal. But if it's a good job done internally, it does the job for you.
Absolutely. That's a really good point. And now you saying that's made me think that, we always... typically in our business, we employ people that do welding, that do machining, that do painting. And the Northeast has always been quite difficult to find great people with those skill sets. And then it becomes about, well, how do you attract great people to you? And of course, if you get if you set up the business and it's running in the way that you would like it to, and the people who work in it value that, then actually that's going to make it more attractive, because they're going to talk within our region to other people that have those skill sets. And we've noticed a bit of that happening in the last 12 to 18 months, where it feels like our brand perception out there has shifted. And I think that's primarily because we are consistently A, doing the right things, and B, getting our message around that right as well.
And that's so important. It's often a byproduct of some of the more traditional PR techniques like press releases, because people just think, we're telling our story to help attract customers. However, people read the story, whether it's about investment or acquisitions or new kind of equipment or the team enjoying a great team day, and they think that's the sort of place I want to work. It builds up that image and reputation. And I think social media is a brilliant vehicle for that as well.
I agree.
Do you embrace social media with that kind of motivation?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think I value more than what we do from a PR and marketing point of view. I value that more from the point of view of attracting people to come and work with us, rather than attracting a client base to come and effectively place their orders with us.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, the types of market we operate in, our clients don't come at us because they've seen a LinkedIn post, or because they've found us on Google or ChatGPT or whatever.
Yeah.
It doesn't really occur that way.
No, and I don't think even when it is, it's ever that single one-off post or that single one-off release or that single one-off podcast, for example. I think it is cumulative, consistent kind of message sharing. But that is interesting, because generally for most of our clients, it's about building the brand and the image to attract customers rather than attract employees, which, both are just as important. And it's obviously a triangle effect. You need both, but all three: a strong brand, attracting employees, as well as attracting customers. So you see that as more important, the attracting employee side.
I do, absolutely. I mean, don't get me wrong. It exists as almost as a validation tool for potential customers that have already found us.
You're right. Validation.
So they found us, and then they want to have a look online and see, well, what does the shop window look like? Because fundamentally that is what's online, isn't it? It's your shop window.
Yes.
So, are they real?
Yes, that's important.
Do they have all of these things, which of course you can't fully get from what's online, but it does start to create and fortify the validation process, I think.
Yeah, fortify is another good word, strengthen that brand. I think they say there's about 7 touch points before someone makes a decision. And often the website's that first one when they're discovering you, but then checking social media, checking customer reviews, going on LinkedIn to check the leadership of the company. Yeah. So many decisions. And I think the PR activity, because, PR is everything, and yes, there's blurred lines between what's PR, what's marketing. I think it all absolutely matters. Even, say they come and visit the premises or the business, how people greet them, whether they're smiling, they're warm, the professionalism, what they're wearing.
Absolutely.
Everything matters. And then it's almost that question, what's more important? Is it that quality and service, which obviously is imperative, or is it all the smaller, sometimes things considered fluffy, around the edges that make that real impact in purchasing choice?
Yeah, God, you're really getting me thinking now, because I would say absolutely. It's the whole picture, isn't it? We often get people sitting in a boardroom across the table or having a chat. They've never been to visit us before. And nearly, I would say 8 times out of 10, someone will say to me, it's a really friendly place, this, isn't it? And I'm like, yeah, well, we think so. Why do you think it's that? Well, I've been sat in reception for 10 minutes and every single person that's walked past me has gone, hi, how are you doing? And is someone looking after you? And that feels really nice. That's not something we've trained.
Oh, really? Yeah, it just happens naturally.
That just happens. And I think that happens because we've created the right culture. And
absolutely,
people have embraced that culture. So, that already has got potentially some grizzled procurement person already got them into a mood where they think, well, actually, this feels quite nice to begin with.
Yeah.
And that's a better start than not having that.
Totally. And a lot of it is about feelings, creating that feelings. And yes, they could just be coming in to purchase quite a mundane product or service, but it's that feeling around it. It's almost what that purchase is then going to evoke feelings in their customers or that, so. And apparently I did hear a stat a while ago, if someone walks into a place where they feel it's friendly or people are laughing and smiling, I think the stat was that they're 60% more likely to work with you than if they walk in to a place where something, again, you just pick up on things, don't you, in the atmosphere. You might not even bump into a person, but seeing the reception or, how the office, the boardroom looks, it all can matter.
And we've got the added bit, being in manufacturing, we've got a shop floor with lots of machinery, people, lots of things going on, and I notice this when I go to other factories, and when you're walking around, is do people look at me? Are people looking at me in the eye? Are people smiling? Or when I'm approaching, because I'm going to be with a manager of some sort, are they all just putting their heads down? It tells you loads about the culture that exists within that business. So it's something I really watch out for when I go to other places. But again, when people go around our shop floor, I always ask them, so, well, how did you feel when you were out there? What did it feel like? And nearly always they say, well, it felt quite friendly. I was like, great, that's what we're after. Yeah. That's how it should feel.
Definitely. And then obviously that's lovely, but the product quality, the service has to also be there.
That's almost a given. If you're not doing that, you're not in the game anyway, really.
No.
You get found out very quickly if your quality, on time and full pricing, all of that sort of the commercial piece, if you like. If you're not doing that right, well, that's quite a short game, isn't it? Totally.
But then my question almost was, and I know we've briefly skirted the subject, do you feel that quality and service affect the brand then, or is it everything around the outside?
No, quality and service definitely affect the brand.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. If you're, reputation's everything to a certain degree. Once you lose your reputation, that's a really difficult place to come back from. So, and your reputation is built on the service and quality element. Everything around it is probably in that 60% you mentioned.
Yes.
I find that really interesting. I've not heard that stat before. When you think about it, that's... I find that quite surprising. And now that you've said that, I'm going to go in and have a think about that and how we how we maybe can tap into it.
Definitely.
But as with all things, if you want to create a great company, it's everything, isn't it? It's every bit. It's attention to detail on everything.
Yes. I totally agree.
As we've already said before, it's never going to be perfect. But if you're always looking and trying to get it as good as you possibly can, this is what I say to everyone in the business will tell you I'm really annoying, because I say, I'm not after perfect. I am definitely after good enough.
Yes.
Good enough is a great place to be. If you can consistently deliver good enough, I bet you that's a great company to work in. Definitely.
But I would say good enough with, excellent around the outside in terms of all those other touch points, the customer service, the feel that you create from that. And I feel that, say, for example, you're delivering good and those other touch points are all outstanding or excellent around the outside, you're going to get repeat business. Whereas, for example, if you have even excellent product quality service, I would argue that if everything else just doesn't feel right, you haven't got strong relationships, perhaps you're not going to get repeat purchases, which sounds, it should be the other way around. But I think the feelings that you create through kind of PR, building your brand, they help enhance relationships more. And I think relationships can sometimes be more important than the quality. As long as that standard level of quality is there, that's just my take on it. But, hey, I'm bound to think like that.
No, but I think you're right. Relationships are everything. Once you've created a contract between two companies, it then really morphs into the different relationships that you create across the different touch points in the organization. So, we deal with some really large multinationals across the world, and, have several touch points in the other organization. Each one has to be looked after and nurtured and grown, because inevitably something will go wrong at some point in time. Yeah. It's almost inevitable because we're human.
Yes.
So something will go wrong at some point in time. It's the relationship that will save it. So
I agree.
That's the only way you can get it back. If you haven't got the relationship, you're more than likely to lose the customer, or certainly compromise what the position is with that customer.
Yeah, that's a really good example of how important it is. And so a bugbear of mine, Richard, which I have already mentioned to you, is during tough economic times, but for many like we're experiencing now, often people in finance will cut PR and also marketing from their budget. In your opinion, knowing what you know now, is that a wise decision?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So, yes, in the sense that if your business is in a compromised position and you've got to cut cost, you've got to find ways to cut cost. You're going to completely wipe out marketing and PR, and something else is going to benefit from that. I would look at it more holistically in terms of my business needs to survive. I need to keep doing the basics consistently and as well as I possibly can with the constraints I've got. And as you're going through that process, when you're coming out of it, certainly from our perspective, is I want to keep attracting great people.
Yes.
Why would I want anything different?
Oh, and there are so many more great people available in times like this as well.
Precisely, yeah. So I would say probably if I was in a seriously compromised financial circumstances, what I would look at is, okay, so I'm not going to spend as much, but I'm going to keep spending. So I think I've really sat on the fence with your question there.
No, but I do. I mean, I'm a business owner as well, so I do see both sides. It is just, sometimes we get the reason that it doesn't look good to be spending money with outsourced agencies when we're making redundancies. And I do understand that as well. But if they're hoping to then get themselves back in a position where they can perhaps give them another job offer down the line, it's difficult. But then sometimes as an agency, we value honesty from our clients in terms of, we had a client, again, not so long ago, that literally said to us, look, we're struggling. Investment hasn't come through like we thought it was going to do. We really value your service. What can we do? And I am broadcasting it, but it's not for everyone. We offered them kind of a few months free at a reduced service level, but we trusted in them. We wanted to help them. We saw that they genuinely would be using our services if their financial situation was different, and we didn't want to lose the momentum that we'd built. And they did come back to us at a lower package, but hopefully that'll build again. And obviously you can't do that for everyone, but the fact that we had that open conversation rather than just, we need to cut budget, sorry, notice. And you get like a really soulless email just saying sorry. And sometimes as well, they will invent excuses to kind of deflect the financial situation, because that's not good PR. Not that we'd broadcast that, but just even their own internal pride. So that can be frustrating.
So that actually brings us back to the point we made maybe five minutes or so ago, that the reason that happened is you must have had a good relationship with them.
Totally.
So we're back to a great relationship should engender open and honest conversation.
You're right.
Through good and bad. If you've got that, then actually I don't think you can get anything better than that.
No.
And what you've then done is you've worked out a way forward that hopefully allows everybody to win.
Yes.
And that's what I always look for in life, is can we find a way through whatever we're doing where we all win,
yes.
or at least win enough.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so that I'm back to my version of good enough, is that if that's good enough for all of us, then that's great. Let's get on it and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And not being afraid to just ask the questions, would this be possible because of this? And because sometimes, the answer might be yes.
I think, again, you'll know this as much as me, is that we can all get wrapped up in our own pride and egos on occasions.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a really difficult conversation to talk to someone external to the business to say, look, we're really struggling. No, not many people like doing that.
No,
because it's almost an admission of failure.
Yes.
Or what people perceive as failure.
Yeah.
And whereas I would say it's actually, you've just got a set of circumstances which you need to deal with. The best way to deal with that is to go out and talk to people.
Yeah, it's always like, what's the outcome that you need to achieve? How can we help each other
to find a way through it? Because if I'm having a tough time, maybe you are.
Yeah.
And maybe if we all talked about this, we could all find a way through that works, which sounds like you've just done with that customer, which is great.
Yeah, definitely. Again, communicate the basics, basic fundamentals of business communication, which obviously leads to then building relationships. I think that's at the heart of, any PR, marketing campaign, brand building exercise. Yeah,
well, we could talk forever about communication and super communicators and how important communication is.
Yes.
At all levels of business. That's one of my favourite subjects.
Yeah. We had a guest on, Liz Atkin, probably her episode just went live, I think, the other week, and she specialises in internal communications.
Right.
And it's fascinating. Psychology,
It's just that, isn't it?
Yeah.
The psychology of people is fascinating.
I know.
And there's so many different layers to it.
I know.
You could lose yourself in it for years, I think.
One of my favourite questions as well is the human brain capable of ever understanding a human? Because it's all we've got. Do we need a higher power like AI to understand the human fully? Again, that could.
Well, that'll be interesting, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely. They might understand a little bit too much. It's a little bit scary, that element of it. The final question, Richard, is what is your top PR tip?
Top PR tip. I think I probably gave it at the start when I talked about the window into your heart and soul.
I still love that. Yeah.
You can have it. It's a freebie.
Thank you.
It's open, honest communication, even when it's difficult.
Especially when it's difficult.
It comes back to, if you're going to do that, then the one thing that you'll have to be is consistent. And if you're consistent with your honesty or transparency or clarity, whatever word you want to use around it, then people will believe you. And again, if you're doing it in the right way, that's exactly what you want, isn't it?
Absolutely.
People to look in and say, okay, that's a company I'd like to trade with, or that's a company I'd like to go and work in, because I know I'm going to be treated in the right way.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Richard.
That's an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Nobody can do business with you if they don't know about your business. But nobody will do business with you if your business's brand doesn't have trust and credibility. PR is the secret sauce in the marketing mix that can help achieve this and so much more. If you're interested in how PR can help your business, contact Harvey and Hugo, harveyandhugo.com, or email info@harveyandhugo.com.